This is STAAR guided practice numbers 10 through 15. Number 10 says, which equation represents a non-proportional linear relationship? For it to be proportional, just remember that it must pass through the origin. So write that real big. Well, give yourself some room to do other stuff, but write it real big that it must pass through the origin. Now that we know that it must pass through the origin, let's go ahead and graph each one to see which one does and which ones don't. If you want to know if it's going to pass through the origin, you can replace the x with 0 and see what the y becomes. So if you look at A, you're going to replace x with 0. 0 plus 3 gives you 3. When you plot 0, 3, you can see that it does not go through the origin, because remember the origin is where 0, 0 meet, right there. So this one is obviously non-proportional. Let's go ahead and work out B, C, and D so that you can see and prove that they are proportional. Remember, you're replacing x with 0 with all of them. 3 times 0 gives you 0, obviously. When you plot it, you can see that it's obvious that it does pass through the origin, which is right there. There you go. When you replace x with 0 on C, your y is obviously 0, because 0 equals 0. Go ahead and plot it. All right, go ahead and write down the last one, D. Negative 2 times 0 gives you 0. Go ahead and graph it. And even though it has a negative trend, it's still passing through the origin, which means it is proportional. All right, number 11 says, Graham deposited $1,000 in an account that earns 5% annual compounded semi-annually. How much interest will the account earn after 4 years if he makes no withdrawals or deposits? I'm not going to do compound interest right now. I'm going to change it to simple interest. So go ahead and mark out the words annual compounded semi-annually and change it to just the word simple interest. Okay, now we're going to look for the simple interest. So you're going to write the formula. It's I equals PRT, and that comes straight for your reference chart. Once you write the formula, just replace the variables with numbers. The P stands for the principal, which in this problem is 1,000. The R stands for the interest rate, which in this case is 5%. And the T stands for the time, which in this problem is 4 years. Just multiply those three numbers together and it gives you the interest. There you go. The answer is $200. Remember, when you do the independent practice side for number 11, you're going to change that to simple interest as well. You're not going to do the compound. You're only doing simple interest. Number 12 says, Martha has a patio in the shape of a trapezoid. The floor of the patio is shown in the sketch below. Martha wants to put trim around the edge of the floor of the patio that is brick. Make sure you highlight brick, underline brick, arrows to brick. How many feet of trim will she need? Okay, so we're looking for the brick, obviously. First thing you should notice is that this is 3 right here, which means if this length is 3, this also must be 3. Then you should notice that if this is 11 and this is 15, that's going to make this little part right here 4. Once you see that, you have yourself a classic proportion problem. You have the A and the B, and you're looking for the C. I mean proportion. I'm sorry, not proportion. What do you call it? Pythagorean theorem problem. All right, so if you look on your reference chart, it should have the formula for you. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Replace the variables with the numbers that are given. You have 3 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared. That should give you 9 plus 16, which equals 25. Get the square root of 25, and that gives you 5. Okay, remember, this whole thing you're looking for the trim, so now you just add the 3 plus 4 plus 5, and that gives you 12. So that makes your answer B as in boy. Number 13 says the right triangle below is dilated by a scale factor of 4. What is the area of the triangle after its dilation? Remember, dilation, think of your eye as dilating, getting bigger or smaller. Because it's a scale factor of 4, it's going to get 4 times bigger. So you just multiply the 6 and the 8 by 4. Okay, 6 times 4 gives you 24. 8 times 4 gives you 32. So your new legs are 24 and 32. You want to know the area of that. So you're going to multiply 24 times 32 and then divide by 2. 24 times 32 should give you 768. 768 divided by 2 should give you 384 centimeters squared, which is D as in dog. Number 14 says two angles are supplementary. One of the angles has a measure of x, which equation best represents the measure of the other angle, y. Remember, supplementary equals 180. Make sure you write that first. So anytime you're given one angle and you're looking for the other, you just subtract it from 180 and it'll give you the other. The only one that says that is G as in girl. Number 15 says quadrilateral, which means it's a four-sided figure. FGHI has coordinates F is 0, -4, G is -3, 4, H is 4, 7, and I is 9, 0. Quadrilateral FGHI is dilated with a scale factor of 2, which of the following could be a coordinate of the dilated quadrilateral. Anytime it gives you the scale factor and it wants to know the new coordinates, you just multiply them by the scale factors and that'll give you the new coordinates. All right, let's start with F. You have 0 times 2 and -4 times 2. Okay, should give you 0, -8, obviously. Then you do G, -3 times 2, 4 times 2. Let's go ahead and do H. You have 4 times 2 and 7 times 2. I should obviously give you 8 and 14, which is, you can see, is C as in cat. Okay, go ahead and flip your paper over. Do numbers 10 through 15 independent on your own. Make sure you take your time and do it right because I'm taking these as major grades now.